No, there's a very good reason why I wore this shirt today. Epic fail. And yeah, it was an epic fail for the Empire in Return of the Jedi. And like I love what Kevin Smith said, a lot of the carpenters and plumbers got killed. But epic fail with Maze Runner Scorch Trails. Why? The first one I really liked. I don't know why the first Maze Runner was so bizarre and so quirky, and we were running around this maze and just nothing made sense. And I like that when something's kind of confusing and you can just write it off as sci-fi. Sci-fi has this broad spectrum where you can almost get away with anything if you claim bizarre and strange crap going on. So I gave a lot of leeway to the first Maze Runner, and I liked it. Here we have this utopian society of these model-like guys hanging around this glen, and these giant, huge concrete barriers that they run into every night to find out what's going on. I still don't understand what was going on at the end of Maze Runner. So now we have the sequel. They're out of the maze, and this wicked or this corporation, what it seems like in the future, needs their DNA to help, fight off some sort of strange virus. So these runners, this movie is like, it's a collection of the best sci-fi films. It's what's happened to the Maze Runner. It's Logan's Run. It's Mad Max. It's so many different elements that you can just sit there that you've seen before, and you're like, wait a minute, where did this movie go? And the second book in this series cannot be like the movie. There's just absolutely cannot be. So we have these guys running constantly. I mean, we run. I mean, I can see running in a maze because it's kind of like a confusing, like a puzzle. But this time, we're running into an old empty mall. I mean, it's almost like a Planet of the Apes kind of movie, because now, we see what happened to the world. It's apocalyptic. It's something that happened like with Divergent, or what happened with all these other movies, or Hunger Games, where everything is just something happened, but we don't know what happened. So we have these guys running again, and we don't know where we're running to. Maybe a sanctuary, maybe the hills. That's where they want to go. So on the way, of course, Wicked is following them, who has incredible facilities, has helicopters and weapons, and then we meet a group of people living out in the desert in these old abandoned cities, like Mad Max. It's like, wait a minute, so there are survivors? And then we go into a mall where there's zombies, or something like zombies, where humans are attacking them. I never thought I'd say that zombies were overplayed, but they're really starting to get annoying. I love Fear the Walking Dead and The Walking Dead, and here and there with my zombie favorites, but just like, it seems like a default thing to go with sci-fi and horror now is having zombies. I think it's really starting to get overplayed. So these guys keep running. We finally get to the mountains. I don't care if I'm giving spoilers. We get to the mountains where there's like these Braveheart speeches and these horrible action sequences and these corny dialogue. What happened with this series? I can't imagine they're making a third one. I really can't. I can see this as a really bad Sci-Fi Channel series, but boy, this movie let me down, because I was rooting for the first one and I wanted to see where this series was going. But they're really trying to push another series like Divergent or like all these other Hunger Games and trying to find that next thing that's going to click, and they dropped the ball. The director did, especially in this movie. I mean, I was just like so bored. And it comes in at over 2 hours too. So nothing is going on. Nothing makes sense. You're kind of confused about what's the purpose of them running. How is Dylan O'Brien became even the leader of this clique? It doesn't make any sense. Yeah, it's just, this movie has so many questions and it has you scratching your head, and overall you just want to forget it and you want to get out of there. So the Maze Runner Scorch Trails is absolutely terrible. I hate to say that. I'm sorry. Maybe the third one, if they do one, it can redeem itself. But this one, forget about it. They even steal Jurassic Park, Lost World, where this girl's like hanging on a collapsed building, and there's all these observation windows, and she's sitting there and it's cracking. I'm like, wait a minute, didn't Julianne Moore do that in Lost World? I mean, just stole from Spielberg. This whole movie, you can just see different parts of the movies where you're just like, wait a minute, this guy sat down and watched like 10 sci-fi apocalyptic films and just went, well, I'm just going to take that. Well, I'm going to take this. I'm going to take that too. Think anyone will notice? I noticed. Maze Runner, stop running and just sit down. All right, for more reviews and interviews, surf on over to our website at vegasfilmcritic.com. Pick up my podcast at iTunes. And if you like what you hear and see, please subscribe below, that little V right there. Share, comment. I'll see you next time.